All right, good evening, everybody. Today is November 17th, 2022. We're here with Chris, and we have a gentleman, Bob, who is going to share us a testimonial. So tell us, he was in court, and tell us what happened. Hey, Bob, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. You hear me?
Yes, I can. Might help you speak up a little bit, but go ahead. Tell us what happened.
Okay. It all started a couple weeks ago. I was watching YouTube, and I ran across Chris on one of Chris' videos, so I started watching it. So 2 days ago, he had a video said, y'all need to watch my first video. So I went and watched the first video with him in court. And if y'all seen it, y'all know how he acted. So Tuesday, me and my wife had to go to court because June we leased the house, and the landlord decided to sell it. So upon moving out, the landlord kept our deposit. So it was a back and forth battle. So when I obtained the attorney, she decided to try to beat him to file the paperwork. So now she's trying to sue me and my wife for $3,200. So we go to court Tuesday. Judge come in. He said, "Oh, today's y'all lucky day." We got mediators from the Supreme Court here today to help us out with cases and stuff and try to get it resolved without going to trial. I said, we got federal people here today. So we were like the third one they got appointed. So I was like, okay, I might try something new here today. So they took us into a private room. So they let the other party go first, and she went on babbling. I left too much rent due. I didn't give them no notice and all this. She want $3,200 plus traveling fee and all this. So the mediator said, okay, do you think you owe her? I said, no, I don't owe her nothing. I said, he went through a realtor, and the realtor said I could break the lease early, and that's what she said. Whether notice or not, she agreed to that, and he went through a third party leasing it out. So technically, I don't have a contract with you. I got a contract with the leasing company. So everything got heated. So I told me, I said, hey, it's not getting anywhere. I said, we're just going to take it to trial and be done with it. So he sent them out the room. So while he taking them out the room, I got a pad. So I wrote my name down, like Chris does it. And at the end, I put beneficiary. So when he came back and sat back down, I said, hey, check this out. I said, that paperwork that you got? I said, that ain't my name. He said, huh? I said, you see this name? So I tatted the tablet. I said, that's my name right there. So he looked at it. So he went and write something down on some paper. So he looked on the corner of the eyes at it again. So at this time, he had tried to stuff it away from us. So I said, oh, okay, so you do it now, let's this. Because what made me do it, I'm like, okay, you from federal. I know you probably ran across something. You about to 70-something-year-old man. I know you don't heard this or ran across somebody doing this. So I'm gonna try it on you. So he said, what can you offer them? I said, excuse me? What can I offer them? I said, hey, look at him. I said, I'm being nice. Really, I am. I said, that's my name right there. And I said, if we can't come to agreement or anything, I said, it ain't going to be nothing nice. So I said, but I tell you what can you do for me? So he said, well, step out the room, let me bring the other party in and see what we could do. So we go outside, the other party come in, she's still mad, her and her husband, they still mad. And it's no lie. They went in that room no more than 2 minutes. The door swung open. He said, come on in, Bobby, come on in. So the whole while the mediation going on, when you go around calling people names, he called everybody first name, last name basis. So when we get back in, he go around the table, first name, last name basis. But he get to me, first name basis. I'm like, wow, what's going on here? He ain't call me by my last name no more. So, okay, so he said, well, They agreed to pay you $932. I mean $923. I said, oh really? So I looked at him. He said, yeah. He said, y'all agreed to that, Mr. and Mrs. such and such, first name, last name, basis. So he went around the table, my wife, first name, last name, basis, but he got to me, first name, basis. So I'm like, okay, what's going on here? So he said, well, they gonna cut you a check, and this and that and the third. So the lady, she like, I'm sorry. I can run to the bank and get the money right now. So I'm like, hold on now. How they just flipped in a minute and a half, less than 2 minutes? You just mad. You weren't paying nothing. So I don't know what he told her. Because, it was a private conversation, but I don't know what he told her. But he went around the table and he said, okay, y'all, everybody agree, right? I'm like, sure. You going to cut me a check for $923 in 2.5 seconds, and you just a minute ago said you weren't going to accept that. You wanted your $3,300. Yeah, I'll take that. So we signed everything. I had to put my signature, just like Chris did it, and went on my way. So I don't know. Like I said, he's from the federal department, mediator from the Supreme Court. So, that's where bigger this stuff goes on at state level. I don't know how much they see of it, but I figure he's 70-something years old. I know he got to know. And evidently he must have knew, because I don't know what he told him. He had him smiling and everything when I went back in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, Bob, so you went in there and you took the beneficiary position. Is that right?
Yeah. In my mind, I played like Chris. I said, okay, you don't see my name, and you just looked at it twice. So guess what? Now you just became my trustee. What you gonna do, Mr. Trustee, to help me? What you gonna do to benefit the trust? And it worked out.
Hey, Bob.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Bob. You ain't shaky. Bob ain't shaky.
No. But it worked out, though.
It's good when you see. Yeah, it's good when you finally see who you are and the power that you really have.
Oh yeah. But like I said,
you don't.
I sent your email with how I sign my name Godly, but that does a little bit to certain people. But when you put beneficiary in, that really make a difference. It really does.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad
that's like the
positive.
Yeah.
That's like the missing recipe in your grandma's soup. It's missing that one spice.
Yeah,
folks, that's that one spice. Beneficiary at the end with the comma. And if you look in the Bible, the Lord tell you, not one period and not one comma will be missing at the statue.
That's right.
So by reading that and they talk about the comma, that comma play part in it too.
Yes, it does.
It's written in stone, folks. You got that. You got every brackets and everything in that comma and this beneficiary. Oh, you good.
Well, I'm glad it was a positive. Yeah, I'm glad it was a positive experience for you.
I just wonder what went on in that room. That they went in and say you owe us $3,200. They come out saying we'll pay you $900. What happened?
I don't know what happened, but it happened rather quickly.
I'm talking about really quickly. And my wife wants to see if I'll let her tell you. It was literally less than 2 minutes. And they were happy. I don't know what he told them.
Oh. Well, Bob, thank you for sharing that with us. That was fabulous.
Yeah, absolutely, Bob.
You're giving hope to the rest of us that if we're in a situation like that, we know what to do. Stand as beneficiary.
Yeah. And I didn't preach nothing to him or nothing. All I told him was, hey, that's not my name. This is my name right here. and he went over and looked, and then what gave him the kicker, what gave away when he peeked over on the corner's eye on the glass, and I seen him, and then he kind of brushed the pad kind of away from him. I'm like, okay, that's the sign. Go right there. What you gonna do for me? That's the question.
Yeah, trustee. How you gonna benefit? Right.
That's what I see.
Yeah, now you'll have that attitude. Now you'll have that attitude. Yeah. It's a regal attitude. You're a regent. Yeah, you're a regent. You're king. Okay, sir. What are you going to do for the king?
And I'm bound to see because I just moved from Florida to Alabama, and money into living here. I got a speeding ticket. Well, I was doing 57, and he said he clocked me doing 76. So I got something to whoop it, but I had what they call Geico got that little snapshot. So I got my record showing that I was doing 57, but I started to send it to him. But I said, you know what, I'm not sending them nothing. I'm ready to go to court.
Yeah.
Caught it. And throw all this out there that y'all teaching Adam and see how they take it. Because it's a win-win because, I'm going to start missing the courthouse. Because at the end of the day, I got proof right here. But if you want to go, don't want to listen and don't. I just slapped this progress report right here. Hey, look, I was doing 57. But I educated y'all on something else, though.
Actually, you wasn't speeding unless you were doing methamphetamine. And you wasn't doing 70 nothing. The car was. This is the traffic stuff, y'all, is the greatest place to spread your wings at. Because nothing that they can do traffic-wise is a prisonable offense. If you go in there and it's a speeding ticket or driving without a license or a proof of insurance, that's not jailable. It's a moving violation.
And that's the best place to try.
Moving violations aren't even arrestable. They're not even arrestable. Speeding is not an arresting violation. They'll tell you that. I can't take you to jail for speeding, right? So why not go in there in front of these judges, administrators, and talk? Here's what's going to happen. They're going to you get to talking, you're not even going to get done with what you're saying before they're going to dismiss. Get your ass out of my courtroom. Because when you start talking this stuff, they don't want anybody else hearing it. So you can go in there and, hey, I'm here to challenge the jurisdiction. I'm the beneficiary of the trust in question. And go with all of that, man. And don't let them in. Hey, don't interrupt me. I am the beneficiary here. I am the sovereign. You don't even have jurisdiction here over this matter. And before you know it, they're not going to put you in jail for anything you say.
Try this one.
They're not.
Why is the trustee being mean to the beneficiary?
Yeah.
We actually had that done. A gal went into court and the judge started yelling at her. That's exactly what she said. Why is the trustee being mean to the beneficiary? That shut him up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
No better yet, Mr. Trustee, you work for me.
That's right.
You got to go back to this video.
You're my trustee. You're my trustee. That's the greatest place to test this out. It's not criminal, so it's not a jailable offense. Why not go in there and talk that talk? Well, I'll suspend your license. So what you're going to do is take back something that belongs to you anyway.
I no longer have a
That's what
license.
it's really about. That's what it's really about. If you give me the license and you have the power to take it away, then it was never mine to begin with. So you're going to take back what's yours. You want to suspend the license? Fine, because I really don't need it anyway. I don't need your permission to do something that the Constitution guarantees me I can do. Life, liberty, and pursue happiness. Liberty means freedom of movement. If you read the definition, liberty means a lot of things. But to be able to move, to choose the way you want to move, is one of the greatest liberties that you have. See, back when this all started, we had kings telling us, well, you can't go there. You can't go this way. You can't go that way. Or you can go this way, but you have to pay taxes. It's called the King's Highway. And they would tax people to move. If you want to move, you got to pay. Does that sound familiar? If I want to drive, I got to pay. That's your licensing process. So the King's Highway is now the people's highway. We don't have a king anymore. We are the king. You're the one that moves freely on your highway. There's all kinds of case law, guys, and you find them in the conditional acceptances, especially like Ron's where it's a ticket. You'll see all kinds of case law. I don't need a license anyway. The only reason I have the license that the trustees have given me is so I can have a photographic representation of the beneficiary. I can give that back. Now, I've got a VA card that's a photographic representation of the beneficiary. Well, that's enough to prove who I am. I got a federal ID. If you got a VA card with your picture on it, you got a federal ID. I can prove who I am with that. I don't have to show a driver's license.
All right, Bobby, you got any more questions?
No, but I do. I'm this is like the second time though. 2009, I think it was. Down in Gainesville, Florida. You know, that's like the capital where lawyer judges and get they stamp bars and all that.
Yeah.
So I got in trouble. Down there for the same thing, driver license. And the judge said, "Oh, you're a 3-time high habitual offender." So they locked me up. So first appearance, I asked the judge. I said, "Hey, can I come aboard your vessel?" So he didn't answer. So I got a little louder. I said, "Hey, can I come aboard your vessel?" So he didn't know me again. I said, "Hey, look at here. Can I come aboard your ship?" He said, No. I'm not going to handle this case here. Send this to another county." I said, "Okay. All righty." See, because the courtroom is a vessel. A lot of people don't know, you know. And it's
permission to come aboard, sir.
Yeah, it's basically a military ship. Your courtroom.
It is.
You know, a lot of people, you know,
exactly.
you get it thrown out like that. You can just go in there and say, "Hey, can I come aboard your vessel?" Your ship, sir.
Yeah. Permission to board. Permission to come aboard, sir.
That's a good one.
So it's all kind of pretty, you know. But it all go to the UCC one. If you ever read the UCC code book, you know, they got a lot of information in there. Like what I'm talking about, what Chris talked about, you just have to dig deep into it.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to learn that. You got to learn their codes if you're gonna be in the system and outside the system. You know.
Mhm.
So I've been learning.
You need to know their system for when they drag you inside of it.
Yeah, because they will try you.
And then use it against them. You using stuff against them, man. Well, hold on a minute. Doesn't your rule say this and that? I was talking to Ron, and he wanted me to send him a copy of the assignment agreement and the new way of doing the contract. And as I was talking to him on the phone, he said, "You need to look up Tennessee Rules of Criminal Procedures 1E4, and it's the definition of person." And it actually, when I looked that up, it actually says that, if you read it, it actually says that humans, or because of the definition, it gives the definition of what a person is. It says only a person can be charged with a crime and tried in the courtrooms. And then you read the definition, and if you guys read these definitions and see and actually look at what they say, like Bob was talking about with the comma, right?
You know, I just ran across that today. I was going through my UCC papers, and a person is, I want to say it had something like a person is like a mammal, pretty much like an animal.
Well, you're going to see different definitions looking in different things. But, like, according to Black's Law, 4th edition, a person, okay? It says a man considered according to the rank he holds in society, okay? Then look up rank. See what that means. A lot of brown people will tell you, "I ain't got no rights. I'm only 3/5 of a person." Right? I'm sure a lot of people have heard that. Because at the time, slaves weren't considered whole persons. Okay? And so if you think about that, a person is a man considered according to the rank he holds in society. Well, if you don't hold any rank in society, then you're not a person. And then it says, comma, with all the rights to which the place he holds entitles him. Okay, so if you don't hold any rank in society, then there is no rights which the place he holds entitles him. And the duties which is imposed. We know what impose means. It means to trick by deception. Okay? And then it goes on to say, the term may include artificial beings as corporations. People versus commissioners of Texas. Quasi-corporations, Segwid statutes in constitutional law. Territorial corporations, Seymour versus School District. And foreign corporations, People versus McLean. Under statutes forbidding the taking of property without due process of law and given to all persons the equal protection of the law, Smith versus Ames, okay? We know what a person is. It just said what a person was, okay? Considering claims arising from Indian depredation, U.S. versus Transport Company. Related to taxation and revenue laws, People versus McLean. Usurious contracts, Philadelphia Loan Company and Tower. Applying to limitations of action and concerning the inadmissibility as a witness of a party in his own behalf when the opposite party is in the living person. Okay? A corporation is also a person under a penalty statute. Corporations are persons as that the word is used in the first clause of the 14th Amendment. That's Covington versus L. Turnpike Company versus Sanford. But a corporation of another state is not a person within the jurisdiction of the state until it has complied with the conditions of administration to do business in the state. So when you think about that, and then you look at the word persona, okay? In civil law, characters in virtue of which certain rights belong to a man and certain duties are imposed upon him. Thus, one man may unite many characters, persona, as, for example, the character of father and son or master and servant, okay? That's a persona is a mask. That's what they want you to do in this court. They want you to put on the mask of the person when you're not. So it'll say stuff like individual. When you look at up in the codes, it'll say individual, a corporation, co-corporation, partnership, co-partnership. There's like 11 different definitions of what a person is, and not a one of them says man. Not a one of them will say, because it says an individual. Most of the definitions you find will say a person is an individual, and then you see a comma. And then it lists all the other stuff, all the different stuff that an individual is. An individual is all the other things. But an individual is never a sentient being. That's where this is at, folks. When they're looking for that person, okay? I had a phone call today. This is probably the second time these guys have called. I don't know for sure because they never state their name. They call a house. They did it today, and they did it a couple of days ago. And I basically, today, the guy said, I'm calling about Christopher Hauser. Are you Christopher Hauser? Or actually, today they said Mr. Hauser. I'd like to speak with Mr. Hauser. I said, well, Mr. Hauser was my dad. Are you Christopher Hauser? I said, I'm Christopher Allen. My family name is Hauser. And then the guy tried, well, that's what I need to do. I need to confirm that you're Christopher Allen Hauser. I said, I'm not Christopher Allen Hauser. My name is Christopher Allen. My family name is Hauser. Like you don't have, I told him, you don't have a last name. You have a family name. That's not a given name. A family name is not a given name. A given name is my given name is Christopher Allen. That's the name I was given. And he was like, well, can you tell me your birthday? And I said, well, it's June the 2nd of 1965. That was the day that the birth certificate was certified.
Right.
Not my born on day. Or my first day in separated from my mother. He said, hold on a minute, that's not your birth date. I said, yes, it is. That's the birth date of the trust that you're about to get involved with. I was born, or my mother gave birth to me on May 22nd, 1965. But the date that you're really looking for is June the 2nd. That's the birth date. Well, there must be some confusion. I said, look, you're a trustee. I'm telling you right now that I am the beneficiary of the trust known as Christopher Allen Hauser. You are wanting to deal with a financial issue, apparently, with my trust. I said, you have the last four of the Social Security number, don't you? Or the whole Social Security number. And the guy said, yes, I do. And then he said the last four, which you're not supposed to do. Anybody that calls you on the phone and gives you the last four of the Social Security number just committed fraud. I said, let me be really clear with you right now. You are the trustee. What's your employee? What's your name and your employee number? I need to know these things. Oh, he got all kind of freaked out, right? And well, I'm gonna call. Why don't I just call back at a better time? I said there is no better time. I said I'm assuming that you're the same bunch that called here a couple of days ago and said you'd call back at a better time. There's not going to be any better time. Every time you call me, this is how I'm going to respond. And I did that with my wife and my daughter in the room. And the guy's like, well, I'll just call back. I said, you can, but get ready to say this. I told him, I said, he said, well, I need to speak with the person, Christopher Allen Hauser. And I said, I know what you're saying. I said, but you don't understand what a person is. You got the wrong definition if you think I'm a person. I'm the beneficiary. The person you're speaking about is the trust. The trust is the person. And I was telling this guy all this. I tell him all these definitions. Write this down because you need to look up these I said, next time you call my house, trustee, you better be ready to provide a benefit. I said, if not, I'm going to charge you with a felony. I'm going to have you charged and your company. If you fail to give me your name, I will have your company and your CEO charged with a trust fraud. Do you understand me? That's how I talk with these people. That's how you need to talk with these people. If they're calling you, harassing you, I guarantee you all, whatever issue that this place has, as long as what they want you to do is they want you to contract with them. Because they're recording them. They're not recording them for training purposes. They're recording them to get a verbal contract out of you. And a lot of these places are third-party debt collectors who have no contract. Yeah. You heard Bob talk about it. Well, they couldn't do nothing because I don't have a contract. That's what they're trying to get you to do. They're trying to get you to contract. So, yeah, okay, you're recording this? Yeah. So I know that they're recording this, right? I'm going to do a FOIA request on this recording where I informed you that you were a trustee in this trust. And you agreed. You're not saying that I'm not the beneficiary. Because this guy's talking about, I don't know what you're talking about when I say you're my trustee. I said, well, you think you'd know your job. Every day you're calling people as a trustee. Because every day you're involved in Social Security trust funds. I said, the Social Security account's a trust fund. Ask Google. Right? I had this dude so tore up, man. He's like, well, I'll just call you back at a better time. I said, I hope you do, because we're going to repeat this conversation. This is what you're going to get. And if you do this, I guarantee you that that company, whoever they are, may call back one more time. And they may even make a threat. Well, maybe we need to take this to the court. hey, do whatever you got to do, but I guarantee you one thing. This guy knows how to challenge a jurisdiction. You're going to waste your money taking me to court, because when I go in there, I'm going to say, where's the contract? If you have a contract with me, since I've been out of the hooscow, that contract's got a beneficiary signature on it. I've even used my iPhone and signed my signature, my, hyphen, colon, comma, beneficiary signature on my iPhone. So anybody that wants to, we're going to take you to court. Well, you do that. If it's a doctor's bill, the VA was supposed to have paid some of my doctor bills. I got a $600 doctor bill for X-rays and stuff. And you got to settle this. No, I don't. You got to call the VA and settle with them, because they were the ones that authorized me to come to get X-rays. But hey, you want to? I told them. I said, look, if you want to send me a statement with a coupon on it, I'll show you how the remittance process works. I'll discharge this debt with a freaking coupon. I haven't seen one. They haven't sent me one. Matter of fact, they haven't even tried to call back since then.
So, Chris, we got a bunch of people lined up ready to ask you questions. So, Bobby, thank you very much for joining us and sharing that with us tonight. You helped out a lot of people with that.
Yeah, thanks for saying it.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Brave. Be brave, everybody. Hey, everybody be Bob. Everybody be Bob. I want to be like Bob.
Just tell him you got no contract. All right, thank y'all.
Okay,
no contract.
Gene, you're next.
Yeah. Hey, you was bringing up that remittance letter. I'm glad you did that, because I had a credit card with Chase Bank, and I sent a coupon to them, and I sent the remittance letter to them, and it took about 6 weeks. I got a reply back finally. They said, we're sorry, we're refusing your request because we don't accept promissory notes. So I wrote back and told them, wait a minute, there's a big misunderstanding here. This is not a promissory note. This is from my Cestui, I'm not saying it right, but trust, with all capital letter name, and told them basically what to do. And let's see, I forget what I'm saying here. That they were denying it, but they accepted it because they still have it, and they never send it back to me.
Yeah.
And so I sent them a letter with that, and I'm waiting for their reply.
Yeah.
But I got another question. Go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I got another question. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
you go ahead.
I'll say this right quick. When they say they're not going to accept a promissory note, what is a dollar bill? It's a promissory note, right?
Yeah,
so you say you wouldn't accept cash? If I brought you $1,000 cash up there to your office, you wouldn't accept it? That's promissory note. That's what a bill is. But, I don't know if when you do the remittance process, I would always send the coupon. If you want to send the 1099-A, go ahead and do that too. That's double the pay. But I would also inform them, look, if you don't accept this, what you're saying is you're not accepting a lawful payment from me. This is a lawful payment. And if you refuse to accept this payment, then I don't owe you shit. Because by law, if you offer to pay a debt and they refuse to accept it, then there is no longer a debt. That's the way I would approach these when they we can't accept that. Why not? You're a financial institution. You file these things all the time. If it's a 1099-A. Who must? Who must file the 1099-A? What do you mean you can't accept them? You do them all the time. And then put them on the spot. With that second letter, put them on the spot. You haven't returned it. You would have to return this to not accept it. What did you do with it? I need proof that you didn't file this like the freaking instructions tell you have to. That's what's happening, y'all. You're sending these 1099-As in to pay this stuff off, and they're not sending them back. Well, you're saying you can't accept this. Go ahead and take this to court. Take this to court, and I'm going to go in there and I'm going to tell them exactly what I gave to you. And I'm going to go in here with Black's Law Dictionary with the definitions of everything that I put in the remittance letter. And they're going to look at you and say, where's the 1099-A? And they're not going to listen to Your Honor, they said they wouldn't accept it. But they haven't returned it, and they've refused to return it. And the directions say they must file this thing. Where's it at? And shredding it is not going to be evidence. You just destroyed the evidence. That's what they'll be looking at. You destroyed the evidence. What do you mean you didn't? What do you mean you didn't accept it? You still got it, don't you? Oh no, Your Honor, we shredded that. You just destroyed the physical evidence. And then it's going to be, I made a lawful attempt. Here's a copy of the letter, Judge. I made a lawful attempt to settle this matter, and they're refusing to accept the payment. The judge is going to turn around and say, if you don't accept this payment, you ain't getting shit. That's what they're going to have to do. So, what was the second question?
I didn't explain it well enough. I should have listened to you to get more words on there. But anyway, I was listening to...
Don't worry about it. You got plenty of opportunities to do this again.
Okay.
And you can still argue that. You can still argue that you made an attempt to settle the debt and they're refusing to accept it.
Okay. I'll just wait till they reply again. Okay.
Or send them a conditional acceptance.
Yeah, that's something I'm going to need help on. It's confusing to me for some reason, but I need to get with somebody to help me with that conditional acceptance. But anyway, I was listening to, he's supposed to be an IRS expert. I don't know if you've heard high frequency radio.
Yeah,
this guy
I've heard of him.
Okay. Claiming that, to use a certified letter or instead of the green card, you're supposed to get this PS 3877 booklet that you record what you're sending, and then the postmaster in the post office is supposed to sign that, and that's better proof. Is that really necessary?
What more proof do you need than a signature card?
Well, okay. I sent that first letter registered mail, and they just sent back the green card. There was not a signature on that, and I bawled the post lady out. I said, there's supposed to be signatures on here. All there was stamps on there, was dates, about 10 different stamps.
That means it was delivered. A lot of the time, especially over the last couple of years, because of the COVID thing, they're not requiring the receiver to sign it because of the spread of the COVID. They're not requiring him to sign it. But the stamp The stamp is proof, and you can always use the tracking system and track it showing that it was delivered.
On the
internet, that it was delivered. Yeah, it might as well have been signed with invisible ink.
Okay, so I'm safe on that then. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just go and I would look at the tracking, print off the tracking window there, showing that it was delivered.
Okay.
And it's stamped. That's all you need. It was received. That's the main thing, is that it was received.
Right.
They can't say it was lost in the mail. That's why we do certified mail, and in the likes where they have to show proof that it was delivered. That's so they can say, "Well, I didn't get it. It was lost in the mail."
Well, that first one was registered, and this one was. I sent the second one certified, so I guess that'll be okay. Yeah, and then I was reading that. I mean, this guy was saying that we're supposed to tell the U.S. Treasury that we're doing this before we do that. Is that required? Somehow do that. I don't know how to do it.
You would tell let me run that by me again. You're going to tell the Treasury.
That's what
you got to tell the Treasury that you're sending something certified mail.
Yeah, that you have to inform the Treasury that you're going to use your trust. Somehow, I don't. He didn't say how to do it before you do. You're
not using your trust. I don't know why anybody would say that, because the beneficiary can't use the beneficiary cannot use the trust.
That's
I've been
true.
saying this from Jump Street, y'all. You have to be the trustee. The trustees have to do this. I get comments all the time on YouTube. Can I take this 1099-A and fill out these papers and the other tax documents and get some money to the bank? No, you can't. And stop whatever you're doing right now and go watch all the videos, because apparently you haven't. That's something else, y'all, I'm about to do. I'm about to make another video here on YouTube real soon. The first part of it's going to be a rant. I don't want to get into it tonight, but
all right, James, I answer your question.
Yeah, that does. Thank you. Okay.
All right, brother.
Okay. 352 area code. Go ahead.
Hey, Chris, can you hear me?
Yeah, brother.
My name's Mike. I'm a disabled vet. I've been listening to you for months and months. Thank you, sir. Thank you for everything that you've done. You were the one that opened up my eyes. I'm a financial planner down in Florida. I am been trying to reach you. I sent a few emails to you. Me and a group of a few different people have gotten some remittance successes. And before I say them publicly or what have you, I just wanted to run them by you and see what your thoughts are. And
I think I may have answered one of your emails today.
Oh, okay. I haven't checked today.
I may have. Your situation sounds familiar. Either that or somebody doing the same thing.
Somebody's
small group in Florida involved in some stuff.
Yeah,
could be, man. Okay. They do it all the time.
That's true. All those bots and everything. But listen, I just wanted to say thank you so much for everything that you do, and I look forward to being at your side this entire journey. So, thank you, Ted.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you too, brother. Peace and blessings be upon you.
You too, sir.
Okay, so 719, Pueblo.
Hi, how's it going? Thank you, Tad, and thank you, Chris, for having your time and stuff. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
I have a question about the deed of trust. So back in, I just started learning all this stuff this January, so 11 months ago. Back in 2020, in August, we refinanced the house and was with one company like American Financial, and then 30 days or 60 days later, they turned around and sold it to Penny Mac. So as these 11 months go by, the last month and a half, I've been studying the deed of trust and found out there's fraudulent stuff in there. As far as they made us the grantor. Yeah, they made us. They said truster, and I was like, okay, they're saying basically that we created this document, which we didn't. And two, there was no two signatures, wet signatures right there in front of us because there was notary public that came to our house, and they just had us sign it. And so that's fraud. And then I'm curious. So when I do want to send them a 1099 just to get it over with, but I do want to put about the coupon remittance because we found out about all that. And so if I write this letter out, because I just emailed you the other day. This is Tabitha, by the way. Our son's car loan and stuff like that. So I figured, do I go ahead and call them out on this fraud that they've done, or do I leave that part out? Should I put that in the beginning of the letter, or put that at the end after I've given them all the definitions? Because and also too, I'd like to go down to the county to find out if they had the promissory note with that deed of trust. Well, I had no idea about the MERS thing, and that we just basically gave a rights to our property away. You know, after reading through this whole deed of trust thing, and I'm like, it's such a con thing. You couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Gather all the evidence that you need, and then approach them with the remittance process, and then when they start that, we can't accept this.
Right.
Okay, here we go. It's kind of like playing poker. You don't show everything right away. You gather your hand. You set up your hand, and then you throw a few treats out there to entice them, and if that doesn't work, you come on with the big boys. That's what I would do. You got to remember that when you mortgage a house, and it's closing.
Right, and the whole point of us even doing that, we've had this house for 15 years. So 13 years we had it with Wells Fargo, and then my husband, he was a miner for 16 years at a gold mine. They're pushing that vaccine, and we weren't going to bow down to that. So it's like, go ahead and quit your $120,000 job a year. It's not worth it. And so we just started working for ourselves. And then I was led to your stuff in January, and I just been studying this and trying to tackle all this, and couldn't believe that we had this trust out there. I never even knew it. I feel like an idiot. You know, we're like, I can't believe we're all these people out there and they got us, you know? Like,
yeah, they're probably going to be hiring him back pretty soon because the government's starting to find out how bad they screwed up.
Yeah, a lot of people died.
And the hospitals and everybody. It's amazing.
Yeah, exactly.
And come to find out, that vaccine has a hidden disease in it, a dormant disease in it that can be triggered by 5G.
Oh, I know. Trust me. I've spent, like my husband says, he's like, I've spent literally probably 5,000 hours on that. And I'm like, man, 2 years ago I could have been studying this trust law, but nope. I found the whole con and everything. It's all propaganda. And the biggest, most dangerous weapon in that world is that television. It is.
It keeps people stupid, that's for sure.
Yeah.
All right, so does that answer your question?
Yeah, that does, yeah, because I just wanted, I'm getting that stuff again. I thought, should I call them out on this because the deed of trust is fraudulent, and so I didn't know if I should go after that or just do the coupon remittance thing first, call them out on that, and then throw in the fraudulent stuff that they did with this deed of trust. So, but thanks, I really appreciate your time. I'm so grateful for you both, and, y'all spending your Thursdays and whatever time you have, because I know time is precious, so. But, all right. Y'all have a great night.
Okay,
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for calling. Hey, Black's Law. Okay.
Yep, I know. I got the 4th edition. I got the 4th edition. Yeah, I've got the 4th edition and 11th edition. So I feel like it's a full-time job studying all this stuff. I got 5 children, homeschooling them, and I'm still trying to squeeze all this in. So.
Yeah, good for you.
All right. Well, thank you.
Close as a verb. You're welcome. Close as a verb, to finish, terminate, complete, wind up, as to close an account. A bargain, right? To close a bargain.
Right.
That's what your mortgage contract is. It's a bargain. An estate, to close an estate. Or a public book, such as tax books. To shut up so as to prevent entrance or access by any person, as in statute requires saloons to be closed at certain times. Close as a noun. A portion of land, a field, enclosed by a hedge, fence, or other visible enclosure. The interest of a person in any particular piece of ground, whether actually enclosed or not. Okay? In practice, the word means termination. In close as a noun, in practice, the word means termination, winding up. Thus, the close of the pleading is where the pleadings are finished, when issue has been joined. As an adjective, in practice, close or seal up, a term applied to writs and letters, as distinguished from those that are opened or patient. That's what a closure is, guys. I don't know how much more straight you could be. And this is how you can argue it. I would, like I said, that's how I'd handle that. I'd go ahead and see. Let's throw them this little bone. Let's see if they take it. They probably won't. They're probably going to want to argue and fight this. Oh, no, we can't accept that.
That's what I was wondering if I just put in.
You're throwing stuff at them that they're going to have to deal with, and by dealing with it, it's going to make it evidence in any kind of case that you're going to create.
Right. That's why I was curious if I just throw in the deed of trust.
I'd set it up, and then once you absolutely, I would set it up, and when they force your hand and they try and make you go in, come out with all this fraud. Look at this. This is a fraud.
Yeah, because why would you find a way? In this deed of trust, it basically says that we transfer of rights, that we just signed away our property to MERS, and they're the beneficiary. And so what they did, what I found out between the difference between a deed of trust and like a regular mortgage loan, is that they can turn around, and now they've made the Fremont County our trustee instead of the bank itself, so they could just go auction have it in public auction and sell it right away, because it's cheaper than actually going to court to actually go through the whole steps of kicking somebody out.
That. Think about if you had a big bunch of money and you paid that off. Well, guess where the title's going to go? It's not going to you. It's going to go to the county.
And then how would you get it back to you? How would you get it to where it'd be yours?
That's what I'm saying. In a lot of cases now, when mortgages get paid off, the titles end up at the county. The county will actually hold the title.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, our system has gotten so freaking crooked that it's time to posse up, boys. Regulators, mount up.
Yeah. Right.
Mount up, regulators.
Exactly.
It's time to start roping some folks.
Exactly.
And people are waking up to this. And it's not going to matter who's in office when it goes down.
Right. And that's why I'd like to help people. I get it all down, help people and spread it out for sure.
Okay. So
thanks for sharing that with us.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate your time, guys. And yes, thank you. Have a great night.
All right, you be blessed.
Okay, so your phone just unmuted. Who?
Hi, Teddy. Deb from the UK.
Okay, that's why your number comes up as the dial-in number. Okay.
Yeah, just basically, good evening, Chris, are you okay?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, basically, just wanted to ask, we're looking at doing a 1099A to purchase a property, and last time on the chat, you discussed briefly about the trustee you can and can't be the trustee. So just wanted clarification on, does it have to be a financial institution? Can it be the estate agent or the solicitor, or if it was the car dealership?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Because you got to think about that. When you look at the description of who must file, that doesn't mean somebody else can't. You know what I mean? That's just saying who must file. Who really has to? The people that aren't, or the entities that aren't listed, that actually means they have a choice. They can or they don't have to. That's where a lot of these dealerships are coming from. You would probably be better off, if you're trying to buy a car, you'd probably be better off going to a dealership that does the in-house financing, because they're generally set up to be financial institutions.
And then with the, because it was more the property purchase.
You're kind of coming in broken. What did you say? Repeat that again.
It was more about the property purchase who we could use, because we have a solicitor that said he would be the trustee, but I'm not sure if that's the right thing to do.
The trustee. I'm really having a hard time hearing what you're saying. Are you?
Can you hear me now?
I'm getting about half of what. Yeah, I can hear you a little better. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
the
property purchase. We contacted a solicitor who's a friend of a friend, and he said he would be willing to be the trustee. It's just whether he is able to be.
Yeah. Anybody can be the trustee that accepts the Social Security number. Anybody that accepts the 1099A can be a trustee. My point is he might have more success with a financial institution, somebody that has to file these things, like for instance these credit card companies. You send them a remittance letter and you send them a 1099A too. Oh, well, we can't accept that. Well, wait a minute, you must file. What do you mean you can't? You must. When it comes to pick a friend to be a trustee, that doesn't mean that they, because they're not a financial institution, doesn't mean they can't do that. I'm just saying it'd probably work faster if you used a financial institution. If you had a friend that worked at a bank and you said, hey, man, this is what I want to do. Here's this stuff, what's going down with this 1099A thing. You might want to check this guy out on YouTube. And he comes in and watches and stuff. And, yeah, we could do this. And then he goes and talks to the bank, the bank that says, look, man, this is this new thing that I learned. Can we do this? And the bank says, hey, I don't know, but let's give it a shot. You got them doing it for you. And see, that's the reason why the banking thing's going to work a lot better, because they've already got the established connections with the powers that be that's going to move the process through a lot quicker. I mean, people are acting as trustees, and they're doing the paperwork, and many of them are doing it right. It's just that it may be when it gets to the Treasury, they go, well, look this guy up. Who is this guy? And they don't. That the trustee that you pick doesn't really have any affiliation with any financial type thing, a savings and loan or a credit union or even a title loan. These title loan places are checking to cash. Those are all considered financial institutions. They've already got a connection going with how this is all being controlled. So, I'm not saying you couldn't use your brother-in-law as a trustee if he got with the program and filed everything. I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. Yep. And
how do you see that, Tad?
Can you file a 1099 in the UK?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Well, I think they can. I've been looking at that, and there are. Well, the corporate charter for the United States is in London. I've been talking to folks from New Zealand and Australia and Canada, and they all have similar. I think in England they have a. It's not a Social Security account. It's a
national insurance number.
Social insurance.
Yeah, social. Yeah, it's the same thing, and I think it's like numbers, and then there's some letters too. And I talked to the guy just recently about that. What do I need to do? Do I need to take the letters out? And I'm not really sure, but you know what I think? Here's what I think. I think that as a matter of fact, I know it. The IRS works with. They're not just collecting for the United States, y'all. They're collecting for other countries too, because they're a for-profit corporation who are designed to collect taxes for the corporate governments they're working for. So it wouldn't be uncommon to find IRS documents being worked in different countries. They may have different names or different nomenclatures. Like Canada's got the T4A, which is the same thing as the 1099A. If I was in England and I was doing this right now, or the UK, if I was there doing it right now, I would be looking up the documents. Like, if you're following along what we're doing here across the pond, I would look up, they might not necessarily have a 1099A, but more than likely they've got a tax document that's acquisition or abandonment of secured property. You know what I'm saying? And other documents.
Yeah, I did that. I did that, Chris. I was looking at our Treasury for quite a long time and couldn't find anything. So that's when I came over to the US Treasury, and I've sent some W-4s. I've done a couple of 1099A online. So I'm going through the process, but obviously using the US Treasury.
Yeah, I don't even know. You may even, like with the 1096, the annual summary and transmittal of U.S. information returns. Using the name of the document, like the cancellation of debt, the 1099-C, or the OID, using that as a document, or using it as a way to do the search. You might even be able to cross-reference. Hey, Google, what's the cross-reference from, the American or the United States acquisition or abandonment of secured property to the United Kingdom's acquisition or abandonment? I mean, I don't know exactly how, because I've talked to quite a few folks from New Zealand, Australia, Canada and stuff like that. And a few people from, few folks from the United Kingdom. But I haven't had a whole lot of time. I haven't spent a whole lot of time studying their documents. I don't know. I guess seeing how there's so many of them, it might be a good thing to look at theirs, because you'll probably find. The reason that I'm saying this is because there's 200. Last time I looked, there's 206 or 210 sovereign nations in the world. And I'm pretty sure every one of them uses the Universal Commercial Code. And a lot of that code has to do with how the taxes are worked. They've all gotten in line. So there's probably quite a few subtle differences. So that'd be the best way to do it. Is you just got to research. I wish I had the time to do that because I get so many questions. But there are also groups in the UK that have followed just what we're doing over here, and they're getting their own groups together. Same thing with New Zealand and Australia and Tasmania. I talked with a lady from Tasmania that's got a group together, and that's what they're doing. They've gotten together and they're researching their own tax documents to figure out if they can do the same thing. I'm pretty sure you can because most countries base their dollar on their the citizens' Social Security accounts. They've all said, "Hey, man, we could create trust for our citizens and use it to borrow money against." So it's just a matter of looking. I hope that helped.
All right. Well, we got some other people that are waiting. They've been waiting a long time.
Tad, could I just ask Chris what his Telegram page is? Because the one that I got linked to was the scammer one, where the guy's asking for money, £10,000 up front for a loan application.
Yeah, the SBA. That's one of the reasons why I'm going to probably make a video tomorrow. I'm sure it's probably going to piss my wife off a little bit because I haven't made one in such a long time. But so many people are getting sucked into that freaking guy's scam. I went on there and I was going to make a comment and bust the guy out, but you can't even comment on there.
No, it's muted.
I need to. Well, what he's done is he's gone in there. I didn't do this. I should have. But this guy went in there and copyrighted her because I hadn't claimed the name at Christopher Hauser. This guy has done it. And he's got another... the study group has got over 13,000 members in it. Well, the Telegram study group's got over 13,000 members in it. That other guy's got, 700 or something like that. And he's taken a lot of people. He really has.
Damn.
And it's a shame.
Yeah, because
he's
got an email as well, which I think the email is Christopher Hauser 1099A loan @gmail.com. So we ask you to email him, and then he'll send you a form out. Then you, obviously, if you filled the form in, then he asks you for £10,000 upfront fees first, or $10,000.
What's the email again? Christopher Hauser.
It's Chris Hauser 1099A loan @gmail.com.
1099A loan
@gmail.com.
Let's post that to the group.
I'm sure I can I can sure if I send him a message, he's sure ain't going to say nothing back to me.
Well, you got to use a different email. But let's post that to the group and say anyone using this email is a scammer.
Yeah, that's something I can add tomorrow. I think tomorrow I'm going to address that scam that's going on.
Is Telegram
Jay
group?
Brought it to my attention.
Telegram
Jay brought it to my
Hauser
attention.
study group, and then he'll give you another link.
Mine.
He'll give you another link that's after Hauser.
Yeah. Yeah, he's using my photograph or one of the pictures from one of my videos.
All right, so we have people that have been waiting, so we got to move on. Thank you for calling.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, good sister.
352, you're next. Your phone just unmuted. 352 area code. Go ahead. There we go. Well. Hold on. Well, I guess not. Okay, 620, you're next.
Hey, Chris. It's David
brother.
again. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing, man? How you doing?
Good. Hey, I filled out the 4138, I think, for the VA for a hearing.
Uh-huh.
And I noticed on the bottom of it, it said veteran/beneficiary. So I found it as beneficiary signature.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just kind of want to shout out to all the veterans too, if they're dealing with the VA to sign everything with the VA from now on to just do it as a beneficiary. I hope it helps.
Absolutely.
I haven't heard back yet. But
when you filed that, one part there it says you got to pick A, B, or C. You remember that?
No, it was just they already had it put for request for hearing, I think.
Yeah, there's a request for hearing, and then you got the option to have a hearing with the hearing officer. Without you attending.
Right.
Without you attending. And then the other one is a video when you're regional. Or, yeah. What I did with mine, I don't know, I kind of been nice to talk to him beforehand. What I did with mine was on A right there, it says you want to request a hearing with the hearing officer, but you will not attend. Right?
No, I'm attending.
Drew a line.
Yeah.
I drew a line through the word not, and then I put the initials above it.
Uh-huh.
And I got a call from them today. To see what they want to do is they want to do a hearing. They want to do a hearing without you being there.
Yeah, exactly.
Or they're just going to review the medical evidence and not actually look at you themselves. No, if you're going to turn me down, you're going to turn me down to my face.
Exactly.
So they called me today and they said, they called me today and they said, we scheduled we got your request in front of the board, and we'll do it as soon as we can. It could take as long as a year.
Yeah, I know, right?
I said, well, just let me know. Give me about a month in advance, so I can prepare to be there. Oh, well, you can't be there. I said, you better take a really close look at that form.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because you've agreed to allow me to be there.
Yeah.
They took a look at it. And I said, that's a contract, and I struck the word not out. You accepted it.
Yeah.
You would better tell me when this is going to be and prepare for me to be there.
Exactly.
Because I'm going to approach them as the beneficiary.
Exactly. That's what my plan is. And I've already looked up, mine said 100% PTSD permanently.
Mm-hmm.
How can you take away permanent? It's not. It means forever. I got the I got the Black Law Dictionary out, and I've got it printed off into a Word document. And same way as beneficiary. What is beneficiary? A trust.
Put them on the spot, man. Let them know exactly who you are. Get all vibe on them.
Yep, I'm going to. Hell yeah.
Yeah, man.
They done struck a fire under my ass, and I thank you for leading me this way. Somebody did, and God was probably involved, and then I thank you very much.
Brother. Everything works with the will.
Yeah. I'm digging the deep rabbit hole. My family might think I'm crazy, but that's okay. I'm gonna prove them wrong.
We're veterans.
We're right, veterans. Brother. Desert Storm veterans.
We're veterans.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
I was part of 73 Easting. I don't know if you watched that video or not, but if you get time, go on YouTube and watch the Battle of the 73 Easting. So
the 73 what?
Easting. We fought the Republican Guards.
What spell that? Feasting? Did you say?
73 Easting. EASTING.
Oh, Easting.
Yeah, Easting.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I heard. Yeah, I heard of this. I heard of 73.
Yep.
Yeah, man. They were the only ones. That gave up any kind of fight.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a Republican Guard. I was an L Troop, and we didn't battle a whole lot, not like K Troop did, and we lost a mechanic. I was mechanic for the Bradleys and M1s and stuff. But, we lost Corporal McCoy during that battle, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
I probably handed you
people waiting.
I probably handed you I probably handed you a case. I probably handed you a case of sodas when you guys did the west convoy across the desert.
Probably. Yep. All right, brother. Y'all have a good one. Take care. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you for your service, brother.
Thank you, sir. All right. Good night. Bye-bye.
904 area code. You're next.
Holy crap! I finally got through. What do you say, Ted?
Go ahead.
Hey, my name's Cody Johnson. I'm from Florida, and I've been waiting a long time to talk to you, Chris.
Yeah, man.
All right. I'm pretty much trying to get on every call, and so my question is private international bank. I looked up how to do it, and it says it takes 3 to 6 months to do it, and you have to have a minimum capital investment of $1 million to do it. So my question is that the same thing that you're doing, or is it different?
Yeah, pretty much, but we're expediting this. Actually, we're having the Treasury help us expedite it. And you don't think you got $1 million in your trust?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I would say you do. And that's part of the deal. You get them contracts. Get them contracts in. That's where you're going to bank at. You gotta have that backing. But yeah, that's pretty much what we're doing. But this is being expedited. The reason it's being expedited is because you're not going to have to learn as much of the difficult stuff as it takes. And it's going to be broken down into to be easily understood. Now the paperwork may take longer to process than the actual class it's going to take to learn you how to do it. That could be why it could take that long. But I don't think it's going to be much more than 3 months. 6 weeks, 7 weeks, you're gonna have this down. Because we're gonna do this largely, 3 and 4 hour a day kind of thing.
Whoa.
5 days a week.
Whoa.
So this,
do it in the evening time.
So this is going to be kind of structured.
Evening time, yeah. It's going to be fast. It's going to be fast-paced learning, but it's going to be dumbed down quite a bit. And I can already see how much fat I can cut off of this steak. Because you just need the basic understanding of the process, and then as you experience it, you'll learn more. Kind of like writing claims for the VA. We got a lot of guys in our chapter that went for the certification, and they haven't even really written any claims, and they're scared to because they don't have any experience. That's what this is going to do. It's going to baby step you into this, and then as you work it, the more you work it, the more questions you're going to have, and the more answers you're going to get to those questions. It's not going to be jump right in and start doing all kind of banking like crazy for everybody. You're going to start with the simple stuff, which is giving the loan, before you get into the crazy things of banking that you're going to be able to do.
What do you mean when you say crazy?
Yeah, there's a lot of different things that you're going to be able to do besides give loans. You're going to be able to create bonds and invest. You know what I mean? You'll be able to help people invest and investment. There's a lot of stuff that you're going to be able to do. At first, you're going to learn the easy stuff. Once you get good at that, you'll start doing the other things.
So I got to talking with Alicia England, and she said that she's working with you, and she asked me if I could, I asked her if I could help, and she asked me like what I could do, and I was like, I really don't know. And she said maybe set up some like sustainable food growing things down here in Florida. But,
yeah, man. And you guys are going to do all kinds of crazy stuff, man. I can't wait to see what happens with the people that just come in to get loans. You know, not everybody's going to be a bank. You know, but you sure can come in and get some loans and do these things that you want to do, these food pantries and yeah.
What's that process going to look like? So everybody's going to send them to you, or everybody's going to send them to a delegated few?
Well, what's going to happen is I'm going to start out baby stepping it myself. But I'm going to concentrate mostly on loans loans for the people that need it really bad. There's quite a few people out here that are living in their vans and stuff.
Right.
Down by the river?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, down by the river. There's people that everybody could use a loan, but not everybody needs one right away. Some people are doing just fine in the situations that they got. Others aren't so lucky. And then there's people that are they're already set up to do certain things, or at least I've vetted quite a few folks, who I think would be good for different things. And you'll do the same thing with your foundation if you're going to do one. Anybody that's listening to me, you don't have to just be a bank. You can actually do what we're doing. Set up a foundation, start teaching folks how to bank. I don't want to be the only one doing this.
I don't want you to be either.
It's kind of, yeah, kind of like the whole reason for me doing the videos it wasn't to share this information. Well, there was that too, but share this information with everybody. It was to share this information with everybody and give them the right kind of platform to go out here and teach it to other people. Of course, a lot of people are going to look at you crazy. But if just a couple listen to you, then you've done well. And that's what, the more people that exposed to this, the easier this is going to be. I hope that if any of y'all are out here sharing this information, that your family isn't stressing you out. I know a lot of people say, my family thinks I'm crazy. Well, you know how I feel at a grander scale.
My parents are in a pretty tough spot, but they're kind of crazy themselves, and I told them about it like here a while back, and they were like, well, they're kind of scared because they're older, and they're like maybe a little bit older than you, and they're just kind of like in that spot where like if they don't get their guaranteed income from the government, that they'd probably be on the street.
Yeah, I know. A lot of people aren't confident. This is all look at. I'm not out here to convince anybody anything. What I'm out here to do is share the information. So you'll convince yourself.
I need to be convinced, Chris. Convince me.
Yeah, well, a lot of people want. I can only share the information. You can convince yourself by investigating it. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to investigate.
You're your best confessor. You'll be the one who will say, I've listened to a lot of this stuff Chris talks about, and I've looked into a lot of it. And yeah, he's right with a lot of this stuff. But there's a couple of things, in my opinion, that I don't think he's right about. And that's great too, man, because you're investigating it. I don't want to convince anybody of any of this stuff. What I want to do is share the information with them so that they can convince themselves.
It's funny. I told Tad that
a lot of people
we spoke on the phone one time, and I said that's one of the reasons that I listen to Chris is because you can kind of look into a man's eyes and tell if he's full of shit or not. And even he asked me, he's like, well, even on the video, I was like, yeah, I mean, I have wanted to meet you, Chris, and look in the eye and see if you are full of shit or not, but I don't think you are.
Yeah.
That's why I listen to you.
Well, the people that convinced me wasn't full of shit either. And the more I looked into this stuff, the more I realized they wasn't full of shit. And they might have not always been right about everything. But I have my mentors too. I've had mentors that led me down the rabbit hole, lowered me down. But most of the stuff I convinced myself. Oh, really? That's true? For instance, when my friend said, do you know what justice is? Well, yeah, I think I do. Well, you probably don't. Go check it out. Well, when I found that out for myself, I convinced myself that he was right. People will do the same thing. So, and not everybody's going to do this. We're 3%ers, y'all.
3%, yeah.
All right, Cody, does that answer your question? We've still got more people waiting.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
All right, thank you. We'll talk
later.
All right,
Cody, thanks for joining us, brother.
Thanks, Chris.
636 area code, go ahead. area code. Your phone just unmuted. Make sure that the mute on your phone has not been, or make sure it's turned off. 636. I think that's Missouri. He may have fallen asleep. Okay, last call, area code 636. Your phone just unmuted. Make sure your phone is on mute. Guess not. Okay. 281, you're next.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah. Yes, this is Nat from Houston. I was just going to add something to the, you were talking about the trust and deed of trust and things. I was going to share something with you guys. There's lots of remedy in that deed of trust. And there's a lot of remedy for foreclosure. There's a lot of remedy for people that just want to take care of their mortgages and do it through the trust. The banks are actually, mortgage companies are very vulnerable through those trusts. And if you know how to learn about that and learn what their obligations are as trustees and things, and the application of not doing their duties correctly, then you can actually, under trust law, you can actually fire them as the trustor for not doing some of those duties.
Yeah.
So there's some real remedy in that trust if you understand, the three parties in the trust and what their duties are.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting way to go.
Yeah, that's worth looking into.
Yeah, it's
I've done it. Topic.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, man.
All right. So does that answer your?
I live over the mountain from where Sam Houston grew up at there, Houston.
Yeah, you do. You certainly do.
Yeah,
that's all I had.
I know descendants of Sam Houston. Yeah, they throw a big party over there every summer.
Absolutely. Well, that's all I had. I just wanted to add that because of the topic earlier. But there's a solution in that trust, and again, right. Chris, there's probably not enough words to tell you, but man, thank you for doing what you do, brother.
Absolutely, brother.
All right, thank you. All right, 612 area code, you're next.
Hey, Chris and Tad, this is Peggy from Minnesota. How are you guys doing tonight?
Peggy, how are you?
Peggy Soda.
I'm fine. Minnesota. I sent Tad an email earlier, and he says, he recommended me going on the call tonight. I have two questions here, Chris, and maybe they all blend together. They're about 1099As. Since you've been back, I haven't heard you say much about OIDs. Now, I understand you're going to do videos. You're going to do a rant first. I love it. I've been putting my name, my all caps name, as the lender, and then the trustee or the person that I owe as the borrower. Because anything that I've done in the past as a trustee has not come back. I have not received anything back from the IRS or Treasury. So that's one, having to do with the lender-borrower. And if I just send in the 1099A with maybe some documentation to prove that here's a sort of a mediocre promissory note and an invoice. And then the second question is, I tried myself 2 different times. I went to the bank and I put myself as a lender on a 1099-A, and then I put the bank as a borrower, and to hope to get deposit some money into my account. They didn't know what it was, and to come back the next day to talk to the manager. And then today, I went to the same bank, different location, with a different 1099-A, and from somebody that owes me money that wanted to pay me that way. And Tad mentioned that I don't deposit 1099s, that I send them to the bank and they deal with it. So
yeah, you can't deposit a 1099-A. It is not just a check that you can I'm gonna put this money, I'm gonna do this, put it in my account. It doesn't work like that. You have to have the trustee has to do all that. And the way we're going to do it is contract.
Okay.
The banks are going, well, we don't know what this is about. Well, we do. You can't, with a 1099-A, when I start doing these loans for y'all, I'm going to create a 1099-A. You're going to give me your power of attorney to do it. I'm going to sign your beneficiary signature on the back. But when I fill out the 1099-A, the Treasury is still going to be the lender. And the borrower is going to be you, the beneficiary.
Oh.
It's not going to be me.
Okay.
Right? And what I'll do is I'll submit that 1099-A electronically, and then I'll put it in the next day air. Next day mail, United States Postal Service, next day air. And it'll go there. Then the money's going to come to my account, because that's how I'll set the 8888 up, or the electronic transfer of funds. That's going to come. That'll come from the Treasury. So the money that I'm loaning to you from your trust is going to come to my account, and then I'm going to transfer it to yours.
Okay.
Or if you want a check, I'm going to create a bank draft. Here's your $6 million bank draft check, and I'll overnight it. I'll overnight the check to you in the mail. Or you can say, hey, Chris, put it in this account right here. Here's the routing number. Here's the bank number. Here's the account number. And I'll say, sure. And I'll be able to do all this from my iPhone, y'all.
Nice.
I've been looking at some 14. I know everybody's saying, oh, don't get the 5G. I'm about to get a 5G.
Make sure you have EMF protector around your house.
5G will get you.
Yes,
well, I tell you
exactly.
What, if 25 years of spraying Roundup ain't going to kill me,
oh my God,
I'm sure the 5G is going to.
Yeah, I hear you.
I've walked in that stuff my whole life. But I'll do it. I'll hold it away from me anyway. My phone right now is sitting probably 5-6 feet away from me. I do all my I got my headphones on. I do all my talking on my headphones. So
good.
Okay, so Peggy, does that answer your question?
That's it. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Okay,
be blessed, good sister.
For real, you're next.
Okay, thank you. I heard the driver license matter and the foreclosure stuff and all that. When I didn't know the stuff, and I just had learned back in, I think it was about 1998, maybe 99, earlier than that, I guess, that the driver's license was, it was way about 95, that the driver license is really only for commercial entities. And I started doing some research into, at that time I was in California, and I started looking into the California codes. And then we moved to Washington State, and I looked in the Washington State codes, and I looked in Missouri, and they all said the same thing, that the driver license was for commercial entities only, for commercial driving, for hire. So I went back into all the codes and looked in the original books, followed the history, because it's all there in the codes. It'll tell you when as most of you all know, that when this first matter ever was made into law, and the thing was never changed all along. So I turned in my, I went to turn in my driver license in California. We were living in Glendale at the time, and the woman at the counter, she said, I gave it to her, and I said, I don't drive commercially, so I don't need this. And she looked at me, and with a kind of annoying look, but she said, I can't take this. And I said, why can't you? And she just said, I can't take it. And I said, okay, but I still don't drive commercially, so I don't need the license. Okay, so then down a couple months later, I'm stopped going over to the coast from Glendale, and I was going about 5 miles over because I was late for an appointment. I didn't realize I was even over the speed limit. So I get stopped, I go to court, and the judge, at that time, I didn't know how to do anything. And I made a wrong plea, but that's what the guy that was the mentor, as you would say, he said, plead nolo contendere. Well, I should have pleaded guilty. Not guilty or not pleaded at all. And but I didn't know anything. All I knew is that I didn't need that driver's license, and that was a lie to me. So what happened was I got thrown in jail and went to court and everything. And then a couple of years later, I'm doing the same thing in Washington State. And that time they put me in jail and I told the judge, the so-called judge, the magistrate, I said, I don't have a driver's license. The cop, he pulled me over, he towed off my car, he put me in jail, handled me roughly, made me do an eagle spread across the back of my car, and basically molested me by doing a pat down. And at that time, I was about 62 years old. I'm now in my 80th year. So that's never left my mind. And because of my children, I want to do something to really get a correction on that and a return on that, because it's frightened them as adult children, because they, even if they believe what I say, but they really don't, you understand the family thing. And it's all for the younger generation, the children, and the people around me. And I hand out a lot of literature. And I want to know if there's a way, the same way with the fraudulent foreclosure. I challenge that. There's been a lot of talk tonight about the deed of trust and the promissory note, and I challenged all that. And everything that I did was challenged them and brought against them by the Washington statutes and right on the deed of trust. And Washington is a non-judicial foreclosure state. And I brought before that, well, first of all, Chase isn't in the title. Your title law says this and that. And then when it looked like I was I got a judge who was an honest judge, and then my arguments, he was upholding me. And then they moved it to the local federal district. And I said they didn't have the right to move that because they didn't have any leg to stand on. And that judge, he refused my plea and he refused what I was saying, that there is no authority here to have this case received. And because it didn't meet any one of the 3 requirements. So he denied me that, and they went on with the case, got the foreclosure. And with these things, my question is there, it seems to me that we should just be able to stand as a man and a woman without all the technicalities, and just like I tried to do. And instead, because I didn't make any claims to be this or that, I just said, I don't drive commercially. And is that too naive? Is that too... Look, I'm just a woman. I don't get paid to drive to the store. I don't get paid to drive to church, which I don't do anymore anyway. And because I found out the biggest lie is right there. So can you give any response to my simple, humble plea, Chris, or Tad, or both?
Yeah. I know where you're going. Many people have done this. You're looking at the language, and you say, "Well, I'm not driving commercially. I'm not operating a motor vehicle. I am traveling in my automobile," because they're trying to use the correct words. Because it is a license. The driver's license was designed for the working, right? Here's a definition of driver. Okay, one who or that which drives. Specifically, one who drives beasts or carriages. Hence, also one who runs a locomotive. An overseer of a gang of slaves or convicts. A part that transmits motion to another part. That's a machine definition. A nautical is after the aft sail of a ship or bark, a spinnaker, right? This is from an 1898 Noah Webster's dictionary, okay? And when you see that, when you see those definitions, those are all job definitions. Every one of those definitions that I just explained or just said were a job. An operator, that the definition of an operator is a job. Mm-hmm. So that's what they do. When you look at the language, well, I'm not driving. You're not working. You're doing it. I'm operating a motor vehicle because I'm a truck driver. See, I got my CDLs. They did that to...
Right, and my husband, after his father died and they closed their marketing company, he sat around for a couple of years and they decided he liked driving in the past his Mercedes cross country to his different marketing locations, and so he thought he'd try out for he said, I think I'd like to try out for an over-the-road driver. I said, well, okay, I don't think I'll like that because you won't be here. And so, but anyway, he went and did that, and I tell you, that state patrol and those cops take the worst advantage out of those over-the-road drivers. But he had a commercial driver's license, and it isn't any different from the one you and I take, except that it has CDL on it instead of just DL, but it amounts to the same thing because it's equipment. That it's only the equipment size that makes the difference. Period.
Yeah.
I saw all that.
And it's the language.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And I
it's the language that you try to argue. You don't need, and the thing about that is they issue the license to the trust. That's the greatest way to argue this whole thing.
Yep.
I don't need a license. Well, of course you don't. Nobody needs a license. Nobody has a license. Your trust has the license.
Even commercial, even for commercial.
Even a commercial driver with your CDLs. Your CDLs are issued to the trust. If they wasn't issued to the trust, there would be no need to give them your Social Security number. Anything that has the Social Security number on it is a trust action. I explained that tonight to a veteran who came to file a claim. He said, they turned me down. The VA turned me down. No, they didn't turn you down. They turned your trust down. And that's the thing people need to get their heads wrapped around. Stop thinking that the trust is you, because it's not. And when you stop thinking that the trust is you, then you be Bob. Now you're Bob. Bob's going in there going, wait a minute, I am the beneficiary. I am not the trust. That's
Chris,
the best way to convince your children that you're right about this is get them investigating what it is that's going on with their Social Security account.
No, the thing that's going to convince them is me getting success in all the years I've been questioning and failing, even, and not being able, and the judges railroading me, putting me in jail a number of times when I was the one that was right. So how can I use the trust, what you're telling me now, them as trustees, years later, decades later, fraud never has an ending, to when you can get a remedy. So
there's no statute of limitation on fraud.
Right. So what can I do? Is there something simple, and maybe I need to contact you privately because of the length of time it may take?
Yeah. If you want to go at this, and you can, what you do is get everybody that's involved, and you do a conditional acceptance. What you did to me was a crime. In most states, I think pretty much all of them, you can't even be jailed for a traffic violation, even a suspended license.
I read all that in the statutes, and they have such an extent of claiming crime for nothing. We had babies. Let me put it this way: I found out that so we found 2 baby skunks from the same litter on our property. Mama got scared for something. My husband was throwing some pipe by some wood that he didn't know she was in there. And we found out that there's laws in the state of Washington against having a skunk. And just for anybody who's listening, it may sound laughable, but skunks make the very perfect pets. They're so wonderful little pets. And they don't spray.
Once you can have them fixed. And
you don't have to
raise them as babies. Yeah, if you raise them as babies, where they don't feel that you're a threat to them, they're not going to spray you.
No, they're not going to spray, but you don't want to remove it from them because it's against their health, and they can defend you by spraying.
Yeah. Well, and here's the best argument for that right there. When Noah came off of the ark. God said, "Go forth and multiply and subdue the land." All animals are under you. Mm-hmm. I don't care what the state statute. There is no law that says you can't have a skunk. What it is a statute. It's a code, rule, regulation. There is no law. There's only one law, and that's the law of Moshe. That's the law that Moses brought down off of the mountain. That's the law. All the rest of the stuff is codes, rules, and regulations. You don't tell me what I can and can't do. The only being that has the right to tell you what to do and what not to do is the Most High. That's what makes it sovereign. What I would do is I would go back and I write down the facts. What happened? This judge put me in I was imprisoned by this cop, and it wasn't, you committed no crime. It's not a crime to drive without a license. There is no crime driving without a license. It's a moving violation. It isn't even an arrestable offense. What the cop could have done is said, "You're driving without a license. You need to call somebody to come get you in your car." That's what should have transpired.
They did that one time, but the fact is that I wasn't required to have a driver's license. That's my whole thing. I was totally innocent from the beginning, and once I said that, I don't drive commercially, they should have let me go right then and there. Right. That was their duty, and they didn't do it.
They can't let you do that because when you do, their system collapses. How are they supposed to generate revenue if everybody refuses to have a license and says, "I'm not driving commercially"? Oh, okay, go about your day. Now you're going to go home and you're going to tell everybody else you don't need a driver's license.
Right, I know it's revenue.
Stop using their driver's license, and then before you know it, the only people that have driver's license are commercial drivers.
I did have one state trooper. There was one state trooper when I was moving my last little bit in my car from Glendale, California to our home in the countryside of Walla Walla County, Washington. He stopped me on the highway, and I just said, "I don't have a driver's license." And I said, "I don't drive commercially." And he just looked at me. He gave me a long look, and I didn't say anything. And he let me go. That was an honest man.
Yeah. He probably said, "You know what? I'm not even going here with this lady. I'm going to keep my job." What I would do is I sit down and I write down the facts and I create a conditional acceptance. I mean, if you want to do something about it, that's what you do.
And I don't know anything about that.
Send me an email, okay, at C.A. Hauser, capital C, capital A, capital H, AUSER, at protonmail.com.
Hey, that's what I use, Proton.
And title the email Granny. Okay? Because you put me in mind of my grandma like nobody. Nobody else has. She lived to be 96. She passed away. She passed away while I was in prison.
Wow. That's another thing I'd like to. Another thing I'd like to go after is I fought 6 brothers and sisters who put my mother in a nursing home. I came back from Washington, and I had to file a court case, and the judge, because they had an attorney and I didn't, I did a habeas corpus, and I find he didn't give it any credit whatsoever. And I finally realized that all Mom had to do was revoke that phony that gave them no authority to do anything to my mother because she was of sound mind. I was in her room the day that the institutional psychiatrist came in and tested her, and I went out afterwards and I said, how do you think my mom did? And she said she did perfect. There's nothing wrong with her. And I said, will you help me do that? And the day I was bringing her out, on a Friday, I told them, because I had Mom revoke it, and because it gave her no authority to do anything with her when she was of sound mind. And so I gave it to him on Friday. I never should have listened to him. He said, well, it'll take us a while to get some papers. It's a weekend, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, I'm taking her out on Monday. 5:20 a.m. in the morning, I get a call. She died. They killed her.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff. I'll send you an email.
Send me an email, title it Granny, and tell me you need to see a conditional acceptance, and I will send you one that relates to traffic. And that'll be a great place for you to learn how to start writing one. I'll show you a traffic conditional acceptance, and you can look at it and read it over, and we'll start communicating back and forth. And I would be proud to help you write one.
Well, praise the Lord. I've been praying about it for years because I know it's the younger generation. Their lives are at stake and they don't even know it.
Beryl, go ahead and do that. We still have more people that are waiting.
I appreciate that.
Thanks for calling us.
Thank you. Okay, Anonymous, calling from a blocked phone. Your phone just unmuted. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hey, I don't know why my number keeps coming up blocked. I just changed phones, and now it's coming up private all of a sudden. I used to have my full name, but my name is Scott Howerton, and I got started doing this stuff because of Chris Hauser, and I'd like to thank Chris personally for bringing this to light to everybody. And it really, you get the feeling that this is kind of like bringing heaven to earth is what I kind of see it as. And when I talk to people about all this stuff, you get that feeling when you talk to certain people. You get this. I mean, at least I do when I talk about it. And he's basically the reason I got started doing all this. And I just wanted to say thank you, pretty much. And
well, you're
want to
welcome.
know when we can get this ball rolling and start coming down on these double dipping banksters and like
we already are, brother.
Yeah,
we already are, man.
Because I got pulled over about 3 weeks ago and got pulled out of my truck and roughed up a little bit, put the cuffs on, the torture cuffs I call them, put them on a little bit tight. I couldn't feel my hands and stuff on it. It took me to jail and stuff for a misdemeanor warrant. And I kind of dropped the ball in the whole situation because it was a surprise to me. When you start to go through it, you really don't realize how, them cops, I mean, they swarmed my vehicle like I was like, and they were holding their guns on their hands on their guns and everything. And it was just crazy. Yeah. It was a crazy experience. And I kind of dropped the ball on dealing with it, and then, so I don't know, I'm kind of put a big old wrench in my process and everything. And all the things I've been trying to do. And now I've been basically trying to get another vehicle. And I was wondering that you said something about a brokerage firm thing that somebody was getting started.
They just completed the second phase. They're going to do the third phase in December. Once that's done.
When is this all going to start happening, though? That's my thing, is that because this has been, it's 3, 4, 5, 6 months. I'm in a position where I need, we need I just need to get something done, and I haven't been able to. I've been thinking about just going down to the dealership and talking to them.
Yeah, absolutely. My banking process may be up before the brokerage is. But hey, so they arrested you for a misdemeanor?
Yeah.
And they impounded your truck.
Yeah, impounded my truck and he wrote me a ticket for illegal. Actually, he lied right off the bat. He said he pulled me over for running a red light. I was on my way home from work, and he said I ran through a red light. That was his initial reason for pulling me over. And I looked down and go, "There's no way." There's like, he's like, "You're lying straight up. I just tripped." And so he wound up giving me obstruction too because I was arguing with him. I didn't really obstruct him in any way. And they pulled me. He was getting ready to pull me out of the truck because of the misdemeanor warrant. And I just I just locked the door real quick, and I was like, okay. When he grabs his gun and his taser and everything, and I go, whoa, we don't need to go there. I'm getting out, and they grabbed me and stuff, and it was just, it really sucked, actually.
That's intense. That's intense, man. That gets your heart rate up and your blood pressure. So for the misdemeanor, did you have to appear?
I did actually yesterday. See this is weird I'm in Colorado, and I'm probably one of the richest counties in the whole state, Boulder County, and they got money like no other. It's ridiculous. I mean, the city I lived in spent $2.5 million on a drone program just for and I live in a smaller city in Colorado. And
that's crazy. Did you challenge the jurisdiction?
I didn't do anything because when you go into court here, they have this thing where they take everybody aside into the DA's room where you're one-on-one with them and stuff. And as soon as I said I'm gonna lawyer up, or I'm gonna probably defend myself, she was like, okay, well, we don't need to talk about anything anymore. But what they did was the misdemeanor warrant was from over a year ago. I bought a trailer from somebody. It wound up being stolen. And I gave them the phone number, all the information I had for the people that I bought the trailer from. And for some reason, it came back on me. I don't know how that happened, but that's what the misdemeanor warrant was for. Oh, I know. There's no witnesses. There's no nothing. They have nothing to stand on.
Yeah. Then it's just, he was in possession of it.
Yeah, that's funny because they were out here looking for a stolen vehicle and they found my trailer. Yeah. So they combined the two things. What sucked about it is I come into court and I got two cases and I wasn't even ready for the second, because the other one, all the traffic stuff and the obstruction was from that time being pulled over. They combined it and I'm like, how the hell do you do that? And another thing too is I didn't even sign anything. I didn't even have a chance to sign any of the tickets or any of that stuff. And I know for a fact that voids the contract right there.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
If you haven't signed it, it isn't a contract.
No.
Okay, so
he never had me sign anything.
So does that answer your question? Does that address your issues?
No, I just want to know I need a car really bad. And this is the main thing. That's what I've been trying to do. And I just wanted to know when that stuff's going to get going, because I keep hearing, it's winter here already. It's been snowing for a day and a half.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, it could be 2 weeks. It could be 6 weeks for the bank is up. And it's probably not going to be till about mid next month for the brokerage is up.
Okay.
But stay with us, man. Stay with us.
All right.
You never got your truck back?
What's that? No, I've been just kind of going for here and there. I've been all over with that stuff because there's so many different people that talk about different things, and I'm the kind of person where I don't go in to do anything unless I know for a fact it's going to work, unless I see.
Yeah,
because I don't want to.
But where's
I don't want to go to prison. It's in the impound. It's in the impound, and it was $250 for the tow and $40 a day, and it's been in there 3 weeks now.
That's funny.
So I'm probably going to lose it. So that's why I'm trying to just get another vehicle.
All right. Sense?
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Thank you. We got somebody else waiting.
Okay.
Okay. 352. Go ahead. Or not. Dang it. You know what? I think I know what's going on here. No. Controls are
I'm not
freezing
standing
up.
there.
There we go. Whoops.
Hey, Chris, this is, am I on?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, sorry about before, the other 352. That was me also, but my headset's messed up. So I apologize. I'll make it real quick. I know you've been listening to a lot. So I'm the Mike that was on earlier from Florida.
Okay.
I don't have an email from you. That's not why I went back. But a lot of people are giving me questions. The one biggest question is that with everything that is getting ready to happen or going to happen, I created a document that you're not supposed to, on a non-interest bearing account, have to show your Social Security to open up a bank account. Well, there's no bank that is allowing you. It's their procedures or whatever. So my question is that would you suggest, instead of going like 98 foreign trust and all that to be able to accept your funds, or the 20%, would you suggest just signing as the beneficiary like you had said before, just going ahead and creating a standard account, non-interest bearing, and then just signing as the beneficiary and everything?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
All right, perfect. The second question, real quick, is my cousin is in legal jeopardy, but is there a way, I've heard all of your videos, every single one, is there a way to try and, instead of going to court, because I don't know if he's got the cojones to do that, is there a way to file documents that kind of predetermine, or they kind of start looking at it and go, oh, crap, it's a small case, it's not a felony, it's just a misdemeanor, but he's being told that he's going to do 6 years or whatever on a misdemeanor.
6 years on a misdemeanor?
Yeah, it's nuts.
A Class E felony is only 2 years.
Well, they're stacking is what they're doing. So it's a long conversation. I am not going to get into all of that. My question is basically...
Yeah, I hear you. Here's the thing. There's nothing that you can, especially if he's scared at all.
Okay.
There's only one thing you can do with these courts, and that's challenge the jurisdiction. Now, look, okay. I challenged it and went to 3 years prison. Okay? Mm-hmm. But they're having to deal with this.
Supreme Court law.
Before we hang up, I'll let you guys in on this. And I talked to the lawyer who's done the case, or who's argued the case. And I asked, what's going on? Yeah, go ahead.
It's retire.ic@gmail. It's really easy. But I did shoot you an email, and then we can talk,
Okay.
And then I'll get...
Florida Mike.
That's me, man.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Yeah, man.
All right.
I talked to this attorney recently, and she was letting me in on some stuff, and I asked her, tomorrow it'll be 6 weeks since they've published the decision, any decision. And so I ended up getting a call from this attorney, and we talked Monday. And we talked for about 2.5 hours. And without, making a long story out of this, she basically said that, I said, what's the holdup? Why is it taking so damn long for these guys to make a freaking decision? And she said, because they're trying to sweep this under the rug. They know that what you guys did wasn't a forgery. I told her I thought she did a really good job arguing that it had no value, and that we would probably, they would probably send it back to the lower court for resentencing because it had no value. And she said, "You thought I did a better job arguing than the other lawyer did with forgery?" She said, "I thought that was the other way around." She thought the lawyer had a stronger argument for forgery. I said, "Well, I hope so, because that's even better." But she said that she talked to, since she argued this, she had talked to a couple of dozen civil law attorneys who argued corporate law. And that was something, many of them watched the videos. And I told her there's over 19,000 views on that video on the Supreme. She said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah, you ought to get on there and watch it sometime. And you'll see what I'm talking about." But what's happening is, she said they don't know what to do. They're trying to pull this out as long as they can because they know that this is coming to a close. They're going to have to make a decision. You have to make one soon. And she said, as soon as they overturn, because I asked her, I said, well, what about the underlying security agreement? Which is the conditional acceptance, y'all. That's what they kept calling there is no underlying security agreement. Yeah, there is. You just didn't get told about it. So I told her about this, the contract. She said, now that I'm not your attorney anymore, we can talk about the other things that I wasn't able to argue. And I said, well, the conditional acceptance is what you should have said. Because that wasn't in the argument for the motion for the new trial. They can only appeal what is in the motion for the new trial that was rejected. So what's happening is she's saying that they know that they're going to have to overturn the forgery conviction, and when they do, then they don't have. It's why they didn't argue the other half, because they knew if they had to overturn the forgery conviction, that the other half of the charges would be overturned. Because if it's not a forgery and it's a genuine document, like the judge asked at the very beginning of that hearing, he said, "Are you trying to tell me that this is an authentic document?" And he said, the lawyer said, "It is an authentic document that contains lies." Well, if it's an authentic document, then the other charges, the filing the fraudulent liens, it can't be a fraudulent lien if it's a genuine document. He said they know this. So your case is about to be over, and everything's about to be overturned. It's going to take a little while because it's going to have to go back to this lower court again to be resentenced. Then in post-conviction relief, you can mention all this stuff. She said, I can't be your attorney for the post-conviction relief, but I would like to look at your conditional acceptance, or that she calls it the underlying security agreement. She said, I would like to look at that because, if you don't mind, as a friend, I'll give you some advice on how on how to write that. He said, I'll even look it over for you, rewrite it if you'd like me to. I'm even willing to put in this post-conviction relief how I was ineffective assistance of counsel for you. He said, I'll throw myself on my sword. I said, okay. But what it is she's spoken with so many civil attorneys and corporate attorneys. They're interested in seeing the contracts. She said, when I talked to you a few months ago and you had mentioned that your ex-wife had her bankruptcy discharged for the $4 million she owed, she said, I looked into the case in Greene County in the federal courts. She said, I looked into the bankruptcy case, and she said, Chris, sure enough, they used the underlying security agreement to discharge the bankruptcy like you said. She said, I've got proof that they've used the conditional acceptance, the underlying security agreement. Now, if they use that underlying security agreement to discharge the bankruptcy, then this isn't, the contract's a valid contract. She said a bunch of heads are about to roll, and they know this. That's why they're taking their time. They're trying to hush this up, sweep it under the table with minimal damage. He said, I would not be surprised one bit if they're about to offer you and your friends a large settlement because they don't want you talking about this. They don't want the news to get out about what's really happened, and the only way to shut us up is to pay us off. I said, well, they better come big or stay at home. So, yeah, that was some exciting news to get. So that very night, Monday, I think it was, I sent her a copy. I said, I'll send you a copy of the contract to the Treasury too. She said, that'd be great. I'd like to look at those. So I told her that I beat the tax court with the contract, and she's overturned the bankruptcy was overturned with the contract. So she's like, they're in trouble and they know it. So
wow.
That's kind of where I'm at with that.
Congratulations, Chris.
Yeah, man. It's all good.
You've been through a lot.
Yeah, it's time. It's time to get paid. It's time to put the hurt on them.
Okay, Chris,
time
I think
for
right
my
now
friends to get released.
Do what?
I said it's time for my friends to be released.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right, Chris, I think we're going to call it a night. We've been here for quite a while, 2.5 hours. So.
Yeah, all right.
And for you guys that were waiting last week, I should have said this before, but there was a communication issue, a technical issue. I was calling Chris, but my calls were not going through, so.
I think that was on my phone because I didn't get any incoming calls that day.
Yeah.
Even the lawyer, because she was supposed to call me Wednesday or Thursday, and I sent her a message back Friday, and I said, look, my phone must have been down because I didn't get any incoming calls. She sent me a message back. No, I sent it to her on Monday morning. I said if you try to call me on Thursday and you didn't get through, that's probably why. And she sent me an email back saying, yeah, I tried to get a hold of you and it went straight to voicemail.
Yeah.
So that's what happened last week, y'all. So,
all right, everybody, please go to youhavetheright.com, join our mailing list, and if you would, consider joining our monthly membership because that helps me out quite a bit. And be on these calls, let everybody know. So, Chris, thank you very much, and we'll see you guys again.
All right, brother.
Next week.
Hey, you guys can you guys can get these. Listen to these recordings on YouTube. He's got a YouTube channel. Yeah, right.
That's right.
On the YouTube channel. So if you missed one, he's got them all back to I think February.
Well, it'll be a while before I get them all up there. I get caught up, but it'll be a while before this one gets up. But it will.
Yeah, you got 3, 4, or 5 of them up
yeah,
anyway.
I know. I got 17 more waiting.
Yeah. All right, man.
Okay, Chris.
But y'all have a blessed night, and thanks for spending your time with us.
All right. Good night.